There are tons of games where the primary mechanic is taking pictures, and this new indie game, The Headliners, is no different. But this ain't Pokemon Snap. In this game, you and up to 3 friends are tasked with going into New York City during what can only be described as the end of the world, and you have to take pictures, and they have to be good. Here's the thing, the better the picture, the more points you get. So as the game gets harder and harder, you don't just need to capture the chaos, you need to create it.
Watch for manhole covers. That's what it came out of.
There's no way it comes out of this one as well, right? We should try it. Yeah, test it.
I am going to showcase all the cool stuff this game has to offer, but not so much that you won't enjoy playing it for yourself. We're also going to find out if this game really is a rip-off of another popular game in the genre, and if it has a future. Okay, let's do it. So you start in the office with a flashlight and a camera. You see, this game is part of that new genre spawned by Lethal Company, which I feel like we need a name for now. It's been like 18 months. A company game? That game's a company game. That sounds right, like it belongs to the company. Whatever. Every picture you take earns you points. 10 if it's just you, 20 if your friend is in it, and 50 if you're both posing. But the real points? They take risks. You need to photograph the monsters and the chaos. If you capture it from afar, you'll get like a small multiplier, like 1.3x. Capture it a little bit closer, and you'll get a bigger one. Even more if there's some violence involved. But, the big kahuna, you get a 2 times multiplier if you capture a photo of a monster just as it's attacking.
You're the fucking worst.
That was the most fire picture, bro. That was the most fire picture. Is everyone dead?
I'm missing a hand.
If you can't tell from my enthusiasm, I love these kinds of games. They incentivize you to risk your life. It's genius. And you know what's funny? As gamers, we can take screenshots and record our gameplay at any time. But when you throw a camera in the game, suddenly we're all photographers. I feel like a game is just going to automatically be fun if you can take pictures of your friends, even if it's not worth any points, just doing it for fun. And the best part is, even if your friends die, if you bring back all the cameras, all of your pictures count. It's not an original concept, but your points are judged by the 5 best photos you and your friends took. And you get to watch them at the end. It's very entertaining. You can spend the money you earn on better cameras, better equipment, even armor. Every time you hit a quota, the next time you go into the city, the monster spawn rates are higher, and you'll see variants of monsters that are more difficult to deal with. From what I've seen on Reddit, people are getting the most points by snapping multiple monsters at once, and a lot of the good cameras give you another multiplier on top of whatever multiplier you get. I met this guy in the lobby. His name was like Clarence. What was his name? Clarence? Clancy. Clancy said that the most points he ever got in one round was 15,000, which I'm not saying he's lying, but that's very difficult. I've only gotten 1,000 points in one picture before. In terms of content, there's about as much as you can expect from this kind of game that's just released. A couple maps, a couple of monsters, 1 or 2 really big enemies that are like the, centerpieces of the match. Just like Lethal Company, your extraction point is in the overworld, and big monsters can spawn there and different types of monsters that you won't find inside the facilities. In the facilities, there's like mines and other very well hidden traps that I won't spoil for you. Most of the time we ran into this guy. He's not actually that threatening, but if he catches you, he fucks you up. There is, however, a rarer variant of this guy with tentacles, and he is the fucking worst. The game's been out for like 2 weeks at this point, and there's already mods where you can turn this guy into like Rayman and Roger the Alien. It's pretty funny. Like I said, there's lots of different monsters, and they all behave very differently. There's one guy called the Stalker, who fucking scares the shit out of me. Basically, whenever you look at him, he runs away, but you can hear his footsteps as he approaches you, so you can either let him come to you by not looking at him, or if you chase him long enough, he starts growling, and then he fucks you all up. It's very satisfying to play a lot and learn the behavior of these monsters, so you can find out the best way to photograph them.
Okay, bring it back up, Eamon! Oh, sorry, I forgot.
Are you lying?
Really quick, I want to talk about the people comparing this game to the game Content Warning, which is probably the second most popular Lethal Company like after Lethal Company itself. If you don't know, Content Warning is a similar concept. You basically go into an area, you videotape monsters, and you put all of your footage onto like YouTube basically, and the more views you get, the better it is. A game that came out a year after Content Warning, where the main mechanic is photographing scary monsters and then you're judged by the points at the end of it. Yeah, it's pretty similar to Content Warning. But I don't think it's a direct ripoff. It's a unique spin on a game that's a unique spin on another game that was very unique. The thing about these Lethal Company likes, which we could also call them, is that they're cheap. And you know, you'll probably put 12 hours into them with your friends until you move on to something else and then revisit it when there's a big content update. So why not get both? You know, they're still cheaper together than most games are by themselves. And they're very fun. I think that we all know that in gaming spaces, competition creates much better products. So why not have the headliners and content warning, as well as all the other Lethal Company likes? So fascinated, in fact, that I'm going to play as many popular Lethal Company likes as I can, rate them all, and tell you which ones are slop and which ones actually do something, you know, unique. Honestly, what I'm most excited to see from the headliners is how can this become an actual game? That's the problem I have with these games. They're fun, they're cheap, and they're short little romps, but I want to see one become a fully fledged game that you can really put time into. And yes, if you had to put a label on them, they could be described as co-op horror roguelites. And in roguelites, a huge part of that is meta progression. I would love to see the headliners include something where if I get to, you know, the 4th stage or the 5th stage with all my friends, if I start a completely fresh lobby, I can carry something over. Perhaps I get to keep better gear permanently, or I can only unlock certain maps and, you know, monster scenarios if I hit a certain level. Something like that will give me something to aim for, not just having fun, because yes, it's very fun, but yes, it's short-lived. The Headliners is made by 2 people, Lucas and Bruno, and I think if you're them, if you're watching this, I would say Phasmophobia is an incredible game to look at for the sort of meta progression inspiration. Overall, it's pretty obvious. I think this is a very fun game that you should try. It is a little bit buggy and unpolished in certain places, but with these games, that's usually part of the charm, especially when they first come out. But yeah, like I said, I really want to see the Headliners become a real, you know, fully rounded game. If you enjoy the little gameplay clips I've sprinkled throughout this video, check out the extended cut on Patreon. It's free. Before you click off, it's free. This one will be free because I said I would do other ones for my first 2 or 3 videos, and I didn't because I made them and they just weren't up to the standards. Anyway, I've yapped enough. I appreciate you all stopping by. Check out the Headliners and keep an eye out for my other Lethal Company-like video where I play every single one, tell you which ones are good and which is the best and which ones are shit. Okay, this has been Dunyan Rings. I'm the Pressman, signing off.
Oh, I got your leg and arm there.
Oh, thanks. Can I have it?
James, throw it at him.
Don't know how to. Oh shit.